There's a crazy bunch of news yesterday besides Giant Bomb and Polygon in the gaming industry. So if you're game stuff, something about Epic I'll talk about at the end because it's a longer kind of a little rant. But I'm kind of curious about the Xbox news. I kind of got a slip underneath the radar, and that's they raised all the prices of their games to $80. They also raised the hardware price, but A, no one's buying it, and B, it's made in China. There's tariffs. Yeah, no kidding, it's going to go up. Yay, America! But they raised the price of the games to $60 to $80 as their base kind of for their AAA titles. Does anybody care? Does it matter? So first of all, like if you like Xbox games, you probably already have Game Pass and you get them for free, right? So that doesn't matter then. And are you buying them on other platforms for? I mean, I am lazy enough that I prefer to have stuff on Steam, even if I have it on Game Pass, if I'm going to play it a lot, because clicking a button is just too difficult for me some days. I don't know. But it's also interesting of just how people are covering this. So, like Jason Schreier is actually smart. I'm not knocking Jason, but he has this weird post where he's like, Xbox announces raising its prices, but here are the best reviewed games so far. 50, 30, and 50 is their price, and they're AA games. They're good games, right? But that's not the most best-selling game, and that's what matters, right? And so is this just their ability then to take Call of Duty and go to Sony and say, hey, if you want to buy it on PlayStation, you can play it, but it's going to be $80 now, or you can come on Game Pass. And so is this their way of being, hey, we're going to be on all platforms, but we're going to make Game Pass the most powerful, best platform because, hey, just buy this and it's like buying Game Pass? Maybe. It's not a bad strategy, honestly. And I don't know if it affects sales, and that's why I'm kind of curious if, like, are you a PlayStation or, I guess, PC player who doesn't get it on Game Pass? Is this going to affect you buying Call of Duty? Is that's the one that will do it? Curious. Let me know, because I just don't see this affecting people except for that driving kind of thing. Like this price increase seems really directed towards PlayStation owners more than anything. And I think the news is kind of missing this. And then the other thing that happened was the big news. There's a lot of news, but Grand Theft Auto's slipping. Was that news? Was anyone? I mean, man, trying to schedule when you do your game, that's when you just schedule. You just ignore everybody else. You just put your head down. This is when we're shipping. Trust me, we've done this. Have to do this now that you're not so tied to stores. Especially if you're just digital only, you can shift around that date. And if you're tied to stores, I mean, what store are you tied to anymore? You're selling copies at GameStop. Oh my god, that GameStop convention I used to have to go to. Oh, if I can put a bullet in my head if I ever have to go back. Okay. But so EGS did something, and they said they're going to waive the first $1 million of fees to developers if they go on EGS. So now my own game was supposed to launch on EGS. We had some problem because of the mod package, and they didn't like how it loaded and took too long to load because we built the shaders the first time you loaded it versus shipping the shaders. Because if you ship the shaders, then that is going to be like a 300 gigabyte package. But so, yeah, one day I should sort that out. I need engineering help on that. I can't do it myself. At some point I will get help because I actually like EGS and I like having other stores. Because waiving $1 million is impactful. That will help a bunch of developers who are trying things, and if they have a hit, they're still going to put it on Steam because they're going to sell more there and then make more money. But for a bunch of those small little games, I think this probably negatively affects itch more than it does anybody else. And hopefully the experiments move here and be on both this and itch. Though itch is really easy to put up, and they do a nice job there. But so that's interesting. That's helpful. And people were like, "Oh my God, Steam's got to react. They got to react. Free market." No, they don't. That's just the free market. They don't have to react. They're the leaders. People are still going to put their game up on Steam because it's going to sell the most there, which will mean then the most money, even if they have to share the first million. And then I saw some people saying like, "Oh, well, if Steam just waive the first 50,000 or 100,000, no, that wouldn't matter. It wouldn't. So if they raise the first 50,000, that's gonna be like $15,000. That's nice money. Don't get me, but that's not gonna sink or swim a studio, right? What Epic's doing is, I think there's this 12%, so it's $120,000. That's a salary. That's impactful. That's meaningful. I wish Steam did it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest Steam fanboy in that sense, but like, yeah, I would like more money. I would like to get that risk at the beginning, but that's not how it is right now, right? And so, we'll see if they react long term. And I get why they react where they reacted, where they give a discount if you're selling gajillions of copies because they want you to stay on the platform. And that was a lot of when I worked there. I say I went to a bunch of a bunch of EA and Ubisoft studios, and it was often just I was like the eye candy for talking with them for staying on the platform and stuff. Right? I was the wild card more than that eye candy. Who knows what I was gonna talk about? But yeah, like I get that, but it would be nice if they had a lead into the front as well. We'll see if they change or do anything there. Because I definitely like when I was there, we never thought of Itch or even Humble or anybody else's competition, but more complementary and just a different funnel and a different way for people to get into the games, and that was the important thing, right? If the whole ecosystem grows, Steam will grow, and it's the same here. But it's interesting to see Epic do this. And then it's funny. There's a podcast, Gamecraft, which I both like and dislike. Mitch Lasky is not a stupid man, but he is also cannot see anything but his own book, and so he's insisting that because I think he owns a bunch of private stock of Discord, that Discord going public is going to make innovation happen in gaming because he thinks innovation happens because of platforms and mobile, which is less the platform and more just what works there, and free to play. He also said Genshin Impact was the first free to play game in the West. Bro. Also said Steam was a failure because it didn't go public. So the money guys just fucking exhaust me. But he thinks Discord's discoverability will be the thing that frees up the platforms, and that will make innovation happen in gaming. That's not going to make innovation happen in gaming. Come on. Right? Like, it's just not. And it's just so weird, the money guys. But it is nice to see, like, Discord going public scares me. We kind of built a lot of our community on Discord, and now thought that was a safe place. I had met the founders a bunch, like them. They're good people. I had some trust in them. Now I'm worried. Yay. We'll see. I don't know. But I don't think discoverability. Right? There's a bunch of people who try, like, to do Kickstarters and other things around discoverability on Steam. And I don't think it's discoverability is the problem. I don't think there's like these hidden gems that are just the most amazing game. It's just they're not for some people, right? Somebody here, they talked about that they just launched their game, and I went to go check it out, and I couldn't decipher the game. And I'm probably going to buy it and check it out just to support them. But like, discoverability wouldn't help with that game. Discoverability is not going to help with my game. Like, people are like, oh my God, this exists. It's just a different thing that happens. And I think people just don't understand that now, right? And that discoverability and how it happens is also a fallout, I think, of what we see with Giant Bomb in particular, but also some of Polygon, because Polygon took the personal into the game space in an interesting way. And that discoverability is still this word of mouth. I used to joke at Valve, there was this just word of mouth mystery that watching things, you could see all the stats, and you could see like these things spike, and you could see where they're spiking from, and it is just like chase back to where it is, and it is random. Talk about like butterfly effect. It is just some random thing happens over here, and then next thing you know, they've got 100,000 wish lists, and you can't. It doesn't force, and you can't force people to go to a place to discover, because then you have the discoverability of the discoverability app, and that's slow. Right? And I don't need AI. AI is not going to tell me that, hey, Chet, you should go play Expedition 33. Well, yeah, I know it's out there, and I'm like, maybe I should, but I know I'm going to hate it. But even though it's a good game, I don't know. Yeah, this went off on a tangent. Face is still breaking out. I have no idea. It's the weekend.